They'll be calling you a radical. I'll show you why I shoot these videos. I paint up here a lot too. I'll get to it. There's method behind my madness. Well, I wanted to put up a video because I took the quantum leap like so many do, thinking that people understand Chernobyl. When I've come to realize even the people in the know don't understand Chernobyl. We need to start from the beginning, like when I taught in the MBA program. I taught in a very, very, very good finance MBA program, and I would have to go in and start from the beginning. I used to have to do a lecture, early lecture. I used to call it third grade civics for dummies, and MBA students. I used to have to get into how the Congress worked and the Senate and the three branches of government. And I had to break down, you know, stuff that should have been taught. Now, people aren't stupid. People are ignorant. Big difference, huge difference, lack of knowledge. How can you know something when you're not taught it? But anyway, I shoot these videos up here for a reason, but I want to talk about Chernobyl and or Fukushima, and I'll show you why I shoot these up here. This is where I live. Grew up right here. It's Mount Ogden. It's the mighty Wasatch. Down Lowman. But anyway, here's the big reason. That's the Great Salt Lake right there. It's called the Big Bend in the river. The Ogden and the Weber meet right up there. It bends all the way around here. I grew up here. Bends up, big, huge bend, and a massive amount of water dumps in right there. You can see where it drops off. Where it drops off at one time could have been the biggest resting spot delta for migratory birds on Earth. Used to be a huge barn right there. Believe it or not, a tornado took it out when I was a kid. I'm sixth generation to live here. Those are corporate welfare teabagger farmers down there. County commissioners, state legislators who've done $10 million in corporate welfare, but they want to abolish they want to abolish the 12th Amendment, the 17th Amendment. I talked to him, he didn't know what the 19th was. But that used to be that they don't even own much ground. They've drawn $10 million in corporate welfare. Yeah, they milk those cows 4 or 5 times a day, drop raw sewer into the river. That's Promontory Point, the causeway. Literally millions of tundra swans, ducks, geese would come in here. That would fill up with water every spring and flood all the way back up through here. It's a natural delta. They drained it off. Illegally, against federal law, but welcome to America. Mormons call themselves Christians. Anyway, I want to talk about Chernobyl. And the reason I want to talk about Chernobyl is I've come to realize that people don't understand Chernobyl. Look, we have to start from the beginning. The dynamic of Fukushima, oh, you remember when I made that? That's in honor of Pussy Riot. The dynamic of Fukushima was set in place by Chernobyl. Is Fukushima worse than Chernobyl? First, let's start with Chernobyl. April of 1986. It blew, plume goes up in the air. They tried to cover it up, being detected all over. Goes on, goes on. Gorbachev took 500,000 men. 500,000 men. The biggest construction project in world history. Reported around here? Hell no, by any way. And he entombed it. Out of those 500,000, as I think every school student, 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade, should have to watch the Battle of Chernobyl. I think it's the best documentary, one of the best I've ever seen in my entire life. It won awards. It won a lot of awards. It should. I think every student should have to watch it. As the IAEA covered the mess up, let's talk about Fukushima. That was one core meltdown. One. How many people has it killed? Millions. 1 million has been estimated, but millions. When I was in the hospital full of leukemia, a little girl from the Ukraine died in there while I was there. As we know, plutonium, Pu, is accumulated. Fukushima happens. The playbook, the dynamic, the lies of Chernobyl set the table for the epic greatest environmental earth disaster in world history to be set in place. Fukushima happens, the disaster of the tsunami knocks them out, and that's where a lot of people make their mistake too. Fukushima the cores fractured on the shape. Not the tsunami. Yeah, the tsunami knocked the cooling ponds out. But think about this. They've said they had a plan to store the nuclear waste in 1970, they told us. All the spent fuel rods still stored on the spot. As I get into this argument, should we shoot it into space? By the way, that's like where Harry Reid used to work, where the ATK rocket that's sent in '86, by the way, blew up. They made it right there. It's ironic to me that Harry Reid, who used to work right there, a Mormon, who Nevada has put first Jacko on the committee, the NRC, which is a dog and pony show, to block Yucca Mountain after they sucked up all them. Okay, so we have this debate now. Miss McFarland's put there. So we have this debate. Do we shoot it into space or do we put it in Yucca Mountain? Well, we have to do one of the two. You know, the debate's really over. I mean, just do one of the two. The idea to kick it down the can for 40 years and use it to make nuclear weapons, which that's what we've done, and regurgitates it, that's what we've done, has been an epic, epic disaster. So here comes Fukushima. I go crazy, rattle. Well, that's another reason I shoot this right here. If you walk that way, you keep going right where I said, right there, this exact coordinates. You will go across the Great Salt Lake, over by the jetty, clear to the coast of California, all the way to the very first population of anything. You probably will not run. If I was to go walk on a straight line, I probably would not run into one single person until I hit Fukushima. Now, was that my subconscious screaming out? As I went crazy, it's going to give everybody leukemia, it's going to give everybody leukemia, and it's going to get leukemia. A year ago right now, you know I got leukemia. So we have 3 full core meltdowns. So what does Japan make the choice to do? As it plumes up, as the wind is blowing out over the Pacific, as Sanjay Gupta, all the CNN maniacs are set up shot up over there. They know, as the wind shifts over the mainland, Japan makes the decision to push water onto the reactors via, and everybody's like, oh yeah, great idea. No, not great idea. There's no containment vessel for the water. Concrete is not, even if it did hold it in the concrete retaining wall, concrete's not waterproof, and it wasn't anyway. It just poured right over the spent fuel rods, continuous water being pulled into the Pacific Ocean. Why have the studies not come out on the boys? Why has Berkeley, and I think it's ironic that it ties into, I know for a fact, I've got a whistleblower from Berkeley I've been dealing with who says, look, those studies and their boys, their marine biology, are out there. They were reported to supposed to be in March of this year. They're not in. Why? Don't you think it's ironic? Here we are at Berkeley, the home of Oppenheimer. That's his place. John Goffman, that's his place. They didn't develop this dynamic. They both came hardcore nuclear advocates fighting it up. Fukushima has 3 full core meltdowns. 600 days going on. Has any of them been entombed? No. Plus, we have number 4 with all the spent fuel rods. Has any of them been entombed? Chernobyl was entombed after how many days? Let's be logical about this. Is fission happening, nuclear fission happening in Chernobyl? Yes. It is leaching through the entombment as they promised to put a dome on it, but as Gorbachev says, we went broke. You know, it's been one guy step up. Look at this. What ironic that is. A little wind twister coming right through here right now. Wow, it's right on top of us. Let's see. So we have 3 full core meltdowns going on compared to 1 that was entombed after 3 of 600 days. Where is it going? The PU, plutonium's half-life, 24 days in 100 years. As we have a study come out on the tuna in San Diego showing contamination that was done just literally months after. We haven't seen anything else. Why have we not seen anything? Because it's the same dynamic, the same powers there be that have covered up this in the media. As Sanjay Gupta does his thing, let's go fishing at Lake Chernobyl, it's pure mal. The same powers that be are blocking these studies from coming out. I know they're done. I know factually they're done. I have whistleblowers coming to me. I know they're done. All you people in California, Washington, Oregon, when these studies come out, you're going to see a major, major panic. And the major media, the 1% corporate media is not going to be able to ignore this anymore, as this is the classic epic denial. I think the reason people are ignorant and numb about Fukushima is because how IEA was able to groom and posture the public via the 1% media. This is a 40-year grooming and posture as facts bounce off these people. via Chernobyl, via the Cold War. Fat boy, little boy. The whole dynamic has been a long, long process. This is the capitulation to the ignorance movement, as I've termed post-ignorance, which is social media, YouTube. This right here, this commentary, people in the know, spreading knowledge for free, Wikipedia pages. It is the information age. That's why this is ending. This will end. The ignorance era, the neo-ignorance era, is the damage already done? Yeah, hell yes. It's done. Is Fukushima going to kill millions, millions and millions and millions and maybe billions? And people won't even know. When they die, they won't even know what killed them. Plutonium's half-life. We are all downwinders. The jet stream tells me so. The ocean currents tell me so. Chernobyl, and I'll list some information on the sides of these bars about Chernobyl. But we have to get back to the basic fundamentals, because I didn't realize how ignorant people are. I used to make the same mistake over and over when I taught. Hell, I'm teaching the MBA program in the #1, which was the #1 undergraduate program in the country at one time. I just took a quantum leap that, you know, and I don't blame the youth. I blame the baby boomer and the echo boomer for their dogmatic, ignorant, but they were postured and groomed for 40 years. The motions were set in place. Kevin Blanch, Fukushima is tens of thousands of times worse than Chernobyl. And Chernobyl was the greatest disaster environmentally that has ever happened to the earth ever on Balco. Stay tuned.